June 6, 1990, Victoria Marshall was abducted from a Philadelphia maternity ward. Authorities did everything they could to find the baby, and the entire state followed the story. More than 27 years have passed, yet investigators still don't know what happened to little Victoria. Prosecutor Elizabeth Marshall is running for governor and gives a short interview to a journalist during her campaign. Elizabeth's approval rating has dropped, and she has only a month left to surpass her main opponent. Elizabeth's assistant, Malcolm, tells her that a young woman has come to see her about a personal matter. The woman claims she might be Elizabeth's daughter. Her name is Lucy Pierce. Lucy explains that her mother Carolyn recently passed away, and while going through her things, Lucy found a stack of newspapers about the kidnapping of baby Victoria. Carolyn had kept them for 27 years. Lucy has the same birthmark on her shoulder as the kidnapped Victoria, which raises certain suspicions. She never knew her father, and she and her mother moved constantly from place to place. The conversation is interrupted by Terry, Elizabeth's younger daughter, who arrives for a photo shoot. It turns out Lucy is not the first to claim to be Victoria. Years ago, there was another woman who even tattooed a fake birthmark on her shoulder. Elizabeth and Terry were so overjoyed back then that they welcomed her into the family right away, but she turned out to be a fraud. The matter has to be postponed, since Elizabeth has a scheduled photo shoot with her daughter Terry. Afterward at the clinic, Elizabeth and Lucy submit their DNA samples. The results will be ready at the same time tomorrow. Malcolm sees an opportunity in the situation. If Lucy really is Victoria, they can use it to boost the campaign. For now, Elizabeth decides to delay releasing her photos with Terry. Her younger daughter once had legal trouble, which could harm the campaign. Lucy works at a school. Right now she can't think about anything except the upcoming DNA results. Deep down she hopes she isn't Victoria, because if she is, her entire life would turn out to be a lie. But the result comes back positive. Elizabeth and Lucy are mother and daughter. They embrace, both overwhelmed by conflicting emotions. That same day Elizabeth invites her newly found daughter home. Lucy learns that her and Terry's father, a doctor, died of a heart attack several years ago. She is deeply sorry to hear it. In turn Lucy tells them a little about herself. She teaches English at a school. Terry is temporarily working at a clothing store. Elizabeth remarks that this temporary job has already lasted 6 months. When she steps away to answer a call from Malcolm, Lucy asks Terry where the restroom is, and goes upstairs. Unable to resist her curiosity, she enters the bedroom and sees a framed family photograph. Elizabeth appears and suggests that she and Lucy discuss how to introduce her to the public. Back in the day the kidnapping of baby Victoria caused a huge stir, so this story will become a real sensation, especially now with Elizabeth running for governor. During the interview, Elizabeth says that her family means everything to her, and that God has heard her prayers by bringing her daughter back. When it's Lucy's turn to speak, she hesitates, feeling uncomfortable. She explains that the woman she thought was her mother loved her deeply. They didn't have much money, but they were happy. Because of the constant moves, Lucy never had friends, so her mother was her best friend. That's why everything that happened feels like such a shock. When asked how all this might affect her political campaign, Elizabeth lies, saying she hasn't even thought about it. Terry, who isn't part of the interview, feels left out. From that moment on, Elizabeth Marshall's ratings start climbing. She's constantly giving interviews, always taking her older daughter with her. Lucy is utterly exhausted. She can't understand how her mother manages to work so much and sleep so little. When Elizabeth mentions that all her 4-digit PIN codes are Lucy's date of birth, she is deeply moved. It means her mother never forgot her, that she always hoped to see her again. Lucy becomes a celebrity, even at her own school. A senior student, Ryan Kennedy, who dreams of becoming a journalist, asks to interview her for the school paper. And although Lucy has already been interviewed by the New York Times and other major outlets, she can't bring herself to refuse her student. In truth, Lucy is growing tired of all the attention. Terry, on the contrary, is angry that everyone now focuses on her newly found sister. A journalist named Chloe Daniels comes to the clothing store where Terry works to interview her. But the conversation takes an unpleasant turn when the journalist begins asking what it's like to live in her sister's shadow. Unlike Terry, who attended a private school and had everything handed to her on a silver platter, Lucy achieved everything on her own. And besides, it's no secret that Terry was once caught stealing and for driving under the influence. Terry hastily ends the interview and storms out, shoving the journalist who was recording everything on her phone. Naturally, the video quickly hits the internet. It looks like an assault, though Terry insists that it wasn't like that at all. Chloe Daniels provoked her. This incident might once again hurt Elizabeth's approval ratings in the election race. She can't understand why Terry even agreed to give an interview. The less attention on her, the better. Terry dropped out of college, works for minimum wage and spends every evening drinking at a new bar, while her mother pays for her car and everything else. Elizabeth advises Terry to take a cue from her older sister and finally grow up. Tonight Elizabeth and Terry are having dinner at Lucy's apartment. There's plenty of space, Though if the stream of letters and gifts from well-wishers keeps coming, even that won't be enough. While mother and daughter talk heart to heart, Terry, secretly jealous of her sister, discreetly turns the oven to maximum heat. Lucy talks about the book she's writing and shares her dream of one day becoming a novelist. Elizabeth asks why she's working as a teacher instead. Lucy admits she still has student loan debt. Elizabeth offers to pay it off, after all she paid for Terry. Suddenly the fire alarm goes off. The kitchen is filled with smoke. Lucy can't understand how the dish could have burned. Terry pretends she has nothing to do with it. At that moment Elizabeth receives a call from an FBI agent. The kidnapper's identity has been confirmed. Her name was Marcia Summers. She had assumed the identity of another woman, Carolyn Pierce, who had died before Victoria's birth. Marcia once had a daughter of her own, but the child passed away a year before Victoria was kidnapped. Looking at the woman's photograph, Elizabeth realizes she knew her. Marcia had been part of a class action lawsuit filed by parents whose children suffered from the side effects of a pharmaceutical drug. Elizabeth had just graduated from law school back then and worked as an assistant for the company's legal team. It wasn't a coincidence. Marcia, driven by despair, had sought revenge on Elizabeth. Soon Lucy will attend a fundraising gala for her mother's political campaign. Elizabeth suggests they go shopping together to buy her a new dress. Malcolm thanks Lucy for her invaluable contribution to the campaign. She has drawn enormous media attention to them, and that is priceless. Moreover, a major publishing house wants to release a book about Elizabeth and Lucy's story. They're even ready to pay in advance. It's another huge boost for the campaign. Soon mother and daughter go shopping together, without Terry. They forget to buy shoes, so Elizabeth asks Terry to lend hers. Terry tries to act pleasant, but with each passing moment it becomes harder for her to keep up the facade. She overhears their mother telling Lucy that Terry is lost and needs a good role model. Elizabeth also believes her daughters could use some time together to get to know each other better. The girls go to a bar, even though Lucy normally avoids such places. Terry says their mother has always seen her older daughter as perfect and constantly compared Terry to her. Suddenly a handsome guy approaches their table, recognizing Lucy from the news. Terry suggests he buy them some drinks. Lucy doesn't usually drink, so it doesn't take much for her to get tipsy and finally relax. Taking advantage of this, Terry asks Lucy to share some inappropriate secret about herself. Lucy confesses that one of her students, Ryan, has been flirting with her, and that sometimes she flirts back. Terry keeps refilling her sister's glass, urging her to drink faster. Soon Lucy, feeling uninhibited, kisses the guy, unaware that he's actually in on Terry's scheme. When Lucy and her new acquaintance sneak off to a secluded corner, Terry secretly records them on her phone. The next morning Lucy arrives at school with a hangover. As soon as she enters the classroom, her students start laughing. She has no idea what's going on until Ryan shows her the video from the bar. It's already all over the internet. Everyone has seen it, including Elizabeth, who can't believe her daughter could behave that way. In the office, Colby Gray, an assistant to Elizabeth's opponent, shows up to discuss the upcoming debates. She smirks as she offers her condolences over the scandalous video. The school administration suspends Lucy for 2 days for violating professional conduct. Many parents no longer want her teaching their children. Lucy can't find the words to describe how ashamed she feels. Gathering her courage, she meets with her mother and apologizes. Elizabeth pretends everything is fine, but her demeanor grows noticeably colder. She announces that all interviews in the gala are postponed, then rushes to end the meeting. Of course Lucy understands everything. Soon after Terry visits her, pretending to offer comfort. Lucy has no idea who recorded and uploaded the video. Terry says she's sorry she didn't look after Lucy more carefully at the bar. But Lucy doesn't blame her sister, only herself. Inside, Terry is gloating. Everything went exactly as she planned. To distract herself from the humiliation, Lucy tries to throw herself into work, but the thoughts of what happened won't leave her alone. Online she discovers that Elizabeth has announced the release of a book, without her daughter's involvement. No matter how hard Elizabeth tries to avoid another meeting, Lucy shows up to speak openly. She wants to know why her mother signed a publishing contract without including her. Why is she treating her this way? Lucy also knows that the gala wasn't actually postponed, Terry told her. Elizabeth says bluntly that Lucy used to be helpful for the campaign, but not anymore. Her political career has always come first, and she doesn't want her older daughter appearing in the media any longer. With no one else to turn to, Lucy goes to Terry for support. She can't understand how Elizabeth can be so cruel. She's lost one mother, and now she's losing another. Lucy asks what their father was like. Terry says he was kind, calm and cheerful, the complete opposite of their mother. Remembering him brings tears to her eyes. The school principal interrupts Lucy's English class, demanding that she come to his office immediately. There, she finds Detective Mills, who asks her to accompany him to the police station and answer a few questions. It turns out the principal received an anonymous letter containing excerpts from Lucy's private messages with Ryan and several provocative photos. Lucy denies everything, insisting that the messages aren't hers and that the photos are photoshopped. Detective Mills makes it clear that the situation is serious. If the messages and photos are fake, the police will find out soon enough, but if they're real, Lucy could be facing jail time. Someone is clearly trying to destroy her, but who? With no one else to call, she reaches out to her mother. Elizabeth comes right away. When Lucy explains everything, the shocked woman tells her daughter she needs a defense attorney immediately. Elizabeth is a prosecutor, not a defense lawyer, and if the case goes to court, her office will be the one pushing for conviction. Malcolm admits that the situation couldn't be worse. The only way to save Elizabeth's career is to publicly distance herself from her daughter and appear in court as part of the prosecution. Elizabeth faces an impossible choice. Malcolm urges her not to give in to sentimentality. After all, she barely knows Lucy. Elizabeth has built her image as a crusader against crime, and she must protect it. Malcolm asks Elizabeth to decide right now what matters more, the daughter she barely knows, or her career. And Elizabeth chooses her career. She tells Lucy that the scandal will destroy her chances of winning. Lucy can't believe what she's hearing. Elizabeth is willing to do anything to secure victory, even if it means ruining her daughter's life. Now Terry is once again her mother's favorite. Elizabeth makes a statement to the press, declaring that despite her opponent's accusations of bias, she will not use her position to protect Lucy Pierce from prison if her guilt is proven. While the investigation is ongoing, Lucy is released from custody. She can't take a single step without being followed. Reporters are everywhere. Elizabeth's ratings plummet. She's now trailing her main opponent by 4 points, and it's only getting worse. Almost all major donors withdraw their financial support, unwilling to be associated with her anymore. Although Lucy hasn't officially been found guilty, she's fired from her teaching job. Terry is pleased with how things have turned out. The girl has destroyed the life of the sister she's always hated, and she doesn't regret it. Lucy becomes the target of public humiliation. Terry visits her again, pretending to be the loving sister. Lucy tries to push her away, no longer wanting anything to do with her family, but Terry insists on staying. Lucy is broken, unable to understand who could have wanted to frame her. Terry deflects suspicion, suggesting it might be someone from their mother's rival's campaign. At that moment, Lucy gets a call from Detective Mills, asking her to come to the police station immediately. To her immense relief, she learns that the cybercrime division has proven the messages and photos to be fake. They've also traced a connection to the bar video and even identified the IP address from which it was uploaded. Terry admits to recording the video but denies forging the messages and photos. Still, the IP address belongs to her, and she is arrested. Malcolm informs Elizabeth about Terry's arrest. The woman visits Lucy to tell her how sorry she is. Elizabeth plans to withdraw from the political race and now only wants to make peace with her daughter. She says she's willing to pay any price. But Lucy doesn't want a mother like that. She walks away. Terry continues to insist she had nothing to do with the fake messages and photos, though all the evidence points to her. She recalls that on the night the anonymous letter was sent to the school where Lucy works, she was actually at their house. But Detective Mills remains skeptical of the idea that Lucy framed herself in Terry's name. And yet that's exactly what happened. Colby Gray, the assistant to Elizabeth's main political rival, paid Lucy to sabotage her mother's campaign. The next day she visits Elizabeth and asks for financial support in exchange for reconciliation. After all, Terry has ruined her future as a teacher. Terry is released pending trial. She's now in the spotlight herself, though it's nothing like the kind of attention she once craved. Elizabeth refuses to believe Terry's claim that Lucy is behind everything and throws her out of the house. Terry stays temporarily with a friend. When she finally realizes that Lucy's goal isn't revenge but the complete destruction of their mother's campaign, she contacts journalist Chloe Daniels and offers cooperation in exchange for information. That's how Terry finds proof that Lucy is working with Elizabeth's opponent's office. Terry approaches her sister on the street, putting on a show of reconciliation. The girl says she didn't make the fake photos, that someone from their mother's rivals team was, and suggests they leave the past behind. But her real goal is to follow Lucy and photograph her meeting with Colby Gray. When Elizabeth sees the pictures, she realizes that Lucy had planned everything from the start. The next day when Lucy arrives, her mother pretends not to know anything. Lucy tries to extract as much information about the campaign as she can, and Elizabeth plays along, telling her that all the sensitive documents are kept in the office, in Malcolm's folder. That same night Lucy breaks into the office and starts rifling through the files, noticing too late that Elizabeth is recording her on camera. Apparently, mother and daughter are more alike than they'd ever admit. It all began as Carolyn's plan. She confessed to the kidnapping right before her death. Lucy had her doubts, but after the way Elizabeth and Terry treated her, she decided to go through with it. Terry is about to call the police, but Elizabeth stops her, deciding to give Lucy until morning to get on a plane and disappear. Nothing will go unpunished. Lucy will spend the rest of her life running, with no family at all. Elizabeth Marshall ultimately wins the race and secures the long-coveted position of governor. But during her own victory celebration, she feels no joy. At least she has managed to mend her relationship with Terry. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel not to miss more exciting new products. Also, the authors will be pleased if you leave your opinion in the comments.